What's up, YouTube? I'm back. My name is Karen, and I lost 100 pounds in 2015, and I'm currently down 110 pounds from my highest weight of 233. So I've been waiting a little bit to make this video, mostly because it's really important to me. I want it to come out right, so I hope that this does. A lot of people reach out to me and just say that they feel like they can relate. They're in a similar situation, usually as my starting stats, and that they don't really know where to start. So this video is in an effort to help begin. So the first thing that I'll say is a couple of materials are going to be needed for this long-term project. You're going to need a bathroom scale, measuring tape, like check out your old sewing kit, something like that. The ones that are not like the construction ones, the ones that will feel smooth against your skin. You want a food scale. Like I said, that's one of the only things that I will really tell somebody that they should buy. But if you don't want to, that's fine. Using measuring cups will work. And you're going to need a journal. And very lastly, you're going to need a trash can. So the first place that we're going to start is goal setting. When it comes to goal setting, you need to be realistic with yourself. And what I mean by that is not the amount of weight you want to lose. It is realistic to think that you want to lose 100 pounds, 150 pounds, 250 pounds, 300, as much as you want to lose. It's realistic. You put the weight on, you can take the weight off. The place where people get unrealistic about their goals is with time. You are not going to drop 40 pounds in 2 months. You might drop 40 pounds in 5 months. You could drop 100 pounds in a year like I did. The point is you just need to be able to have patience, because a lot of weight loss is patience, and you're no longer filling your time with eating food, so you're just kind of waiting around, waiting for the weight to come off. How many times can I say wait right there? So anyway, so goal setting. Be realistic more in the timeline than the amount of weight that you want to lose. Now, speaking of amount of weight you want to lose, you want to know where to start with that, then I would recommend checking a BMI chart. Based upon your height and your gender, as well as some take into account your frame size, it will give you a range of what would be considered healthy normal for you for like I said, those specifications. So for me, it's somewhere between 117 and like 142 or something. And that's a huge range. That's like 25, 30 pounds of, variation. And that's because it looks different on different people, and what's healthy for you might not be healthy for somebody else, even if they are the same weight height as you. It might not be healthy for you. Like when I first set my goal, I thought, okay, let's do this. I'm going to get all the way down to 117. I'm not going to stop halfway. I'm not going to put in all this effort and then still be fat in the end. Like, I'm not going to do that. But as I'm getting closer and closer, and like when I hit into the low 140s, 130s, and I actually became like normal on the BMI chart, which was a huge non-scale victory, I realized that 117 I would start to look sickly. I mean, I would just start to look emaciated, even though, I'm consciously trying to put on muscle at this point. It just wouldn't look right on me. And right now I'm 123, so those 6 pounds would be a big difference. So you want to have the long-term goal of, yes, I want to lose 100 pounds. I want to lose 150 pounds in your ultimate goal weight. But it's helpful also to set intermediary goals. Like in 3 months, I'd like to lose 30 pounds. Or, by summer, I'd like to be down 50 pounds. Which also brings me up to another point of goal setting. You should have more than just weight goals. You can have time goals, like I said, 3 months, 6 months. You can have maybe an event goal if you have something, in particular coming up, especially ones that you're going to be in pictures a lot of, like a friend's wedding or, somebody's graduation, your own graduation, your kid's graduation, an anniversary, maybe a special trip, etc. So you can kind of plan around that and say, okay, by this time I'd really like to be, this weight. Or if you don't want to set weight goals at all, you can also go by sizes, clothing sizes. I'd like to be a size 10 by then. I'd like to be a size 8 by then. Whatever that is for you. Or you can also do clothing goals, event goals, life goals. Like if you're just like, I want to drop enough weight to be able to run a 5K. I want to drop enough weight to be able to zip line. I want to drop enough weight to be able to travel on an airplane comfortably. Stuff like that. That doesn't have a time, that doesn't have a weight, that has a feeling associated with it instead. Having these variations of goals helps it to not get so stagnant, and it's a lot of waiting. It takes a lot of patience to watch your body change at pound by pound, half a pound by half a pound. It is a lot of waiting. So any kind of small goals that you can celebrate along the way, or victories that don't have to do with the scale, you need to lift those up as often as you can, because otherwise you got nothing to do. You're gonna eat. Fine. Maybe you won't, but I would. If I have nothing to do, a boredom eater, I will eat. So setting goals, and when it comes to setting goals, you're going to need to write this stuff down. So I highly recommend a journal. The kind of journal that I use is like the 50-cent composition notebooks. All the pages stay in, whatever. This is actually my second journal of my weight loss journey, and I'm a little bit more than halfway through. It's super interesting to go back and reread what I wrote in the beginning, which would be more than a year ago now. A lot of the entries are daydreaming about what I'll wear in the future, what I'll do in the future, how good I'm gonna feel, just different things like that, which it's amazing to read now. So if you do decide to journal, it gives you something to do when you're bored. It also has been really cool for me to look back on, and I recommend that. But it also helps you to get your thoughts straight. So like I said, if you're setting all these goals, you have all these different things that you're trying to reach, writing them down and reminding yourself, it makes them tangible, it makes them real, and keeping them in a journal just makes good sense. So a long step one, was goal setting. Step 2 is accountability. So this is huge. How many of us have tried and stopped a diet a million times in secret because we're embarrassed and we don't want anybody to call us on our shit if we're eating a cookie and we want to eat a cookie and they're like, hey, aren't you on a diet? We don't want that. And also when you fail at something, it's fucking embarrassing. You don't want people to know that you failed. That's why a lot of times when people go out for a job, or they are applying for a loan, they don't tell anybody anything until it's good news. But for this, you have to tell people right away. Okay, let's say you're not necessarily 100% comfortable telling your random hot friend. Fine, then don't. But confide in your spouse, confide in your mom, your dad. If, let's say, you feel like your family's less than supportive, which I've had a few people reach out and tell me that they feel like theirs is. I'm so sorry. That's incredibly unfortunate and makes it so much harder. But there are other outlets these days. YouTube, Instagram. Instagram is huge for me. Huge. I love the support that I get on Instagram. Being able to share with people, even if they're strangers that check on my shit. They call me out. They ask questions. It's interaction revolving around my weight loss and my fitness. It keeps my mind there at where it needs to be with that, and it also leads me to find other people that are like-minded on the same path. We can inspire each other and hold each other accountable. So if you're not comfortable, even if you are comfortable confiding in people in real life, you should still, I think, do some sort of social media outlet. It's also a really good way for you to be able to look back over your progress pictures, or even just you put up motivational quotes, you put up recipes, whatever you want. So I highly suggest social media, but the number one would be if you live with people, you're married, you have a husband, kids, whatever, or you live with your mom and dad, if you live with roommates and you prepare food together, you need to tell these people. They are going to see your food scale. They're going to notice the change in your eating habits. It's a good thing. They will encourage you. And if they don't, they're dickheads. I mean, seriously. If they don't, they are like probably, honestly, having a hard time with something within themselves and projecting that onto you. Because hearing somebody come up and say that they're trying to better themselves, they're going on a mission to get healthy, look better, feel better, extend their life, if the reaction is anything other than positive, what is wrong with that person? What is wrong with them? So anyway, the point is, tell someone, because it is a lot harder to fail when someone is watching. So accountability, step 3. Oh, last thing I want to say about accountability. There's this app that I've been using. A friend of mine suggested it. It's really random, but it's called Pact, P-A-C-T app. And it works through MyFitnessPal, and you basically bet on yourself that you're going to track your food. You can put between $5 and $10 a day, which sounds expensive, but if you are religious about tracking, then it's not a thing. And then at the end of the week, if you have completed your pact, you get paid, which paid is like $2, but still. And you don't have to, then you're not paying other people because you completed your side of the pact. I don't know if that made sense, really, but it's cool. It's another social media tool. It gets you into a community with people that are like-minded, also tracking, also trying to eat fruits and veggies. There's a workout pact on there too. So that one's cool. Pact app, I would check that out. It's free. It's free. So the third step that I would say to do getting started is to get yourself ready for the tedious process of tracking all your foods. It's both good and bad. And I say tedious because it's a lot. You're hungry and you want to eat, but suddenly you have to take 10 minutes to look things up in MyFitnessPal. It's a lot. It gets annoying. But is it more annoying to track your food for 10 minutes, or is it more annoying to be fat? Your choice. Honestly, your choice. Something that you can do to make the process a little bit faster is you can write your food down, physically write it down, and then go back and track it into MyFitnessPal. But I would not recommend doing that unless you're fairly confident in what the calories are that you're eating. Otherwise, you might end up with a really big, awful surprise after you've already consumed everything and there's nothing to be done. So, pre-tracking food, I would recommend, and I would recommend getting some patience. And also in being, prepared to track your food, this is where your food scale is going to come in to play, or your measuring cups. I would also say to, when you're looking at prepackaged food, make sure that you're checking the serving sizes, because you might look at something, pick it up, and think, okay, great, this is 100 calories, but the serving size is only a fourth of the package. So really, if you consume the whole thing, surprise, 400 calories, and you weren't ready for that. So again, pre-tracking will help with that, because in MyFitnessPal, a lot of times it comes up with the suggested servings. But it's good. It's a good habit for you to get into looking at the nutritional labels on things, and especially the serving sizes. So I would say that. And then also I would say, in the fitness side of the community, I don't know, in the weight loss community too, but in the fitness community, it's huge to meal prep. It's like meal prep Sundays, and I'll just make 14 different meals so that I don't have to think about it later, and I can just grab it. I already know what the calories are. It's safe. It's totally safe. For me, that's unrealistic just with my life and the way things are, so I don't meal prep. But one of the things I used to do when I was first getting started with weight loss was I would let's call it snack prepping. I would take sandwich baggies, and I would weigh out the correct portion size of pretzels, and then I'd write on there how many calories or whatever that I needed to track for that. It also makes it really like in your face, like when you're hungry and you're just kind of grazing and you like pick up a bag of pretzels that you like a portion size and you're like, oh my God, this would be, 200 calories. Do I really want to spend 200 calories right now for like 5 seconds of eating? And a lot of times that would deter me. I don't really do that as much now just because I'm already very aware of the calories that are in most of my like go-to foods. So it's not really a thing for me anymore, but it was a huge help in the beginning. So I suggest that. I guess that's pretty much it for getting ready to track your food. But mostly I would say that the big thing is going to be patience. You need to have patience with yourself when you're looking stuff up. You need to, if you can't find the exact item, find something similar and estimate. Don't get discouraged. Oh, it's not in there, so I don't need to track anything. Like, well, your body is still tracking it. It still counts on your fat cells or wherever it's going to. Like, so you need to put it in your log, your tracker. If you want to be accurate, all of this is your choice. Like, you're choosing to be bothered by all this like minutia little detail stuff, or you're choosing to be bothered by feeling badly about yourself and feeling fat and being upset inside with that. So it's your choice. Okay, so on to step 4, learning what to eat, and really specifically learning what not to eat. Now, this is like a huge, huge, huge step that will come over time, over, looking things up in MyFitnessPal, over looking at food nutrition labels, over, eating something and then thinking, God, that wasn't worth the calories, like, and learning your own lessons that way. But in general, I would say whole fresh foods are always going to have more nutrients and more volume for the calories. So what I mean by whole fresh foods is things that are whole and fresh, aka fruits and vegetables, anything that's not processed, that doesn't come in a package. Other than that, I would say, like, again, make sure to check your portion sizes on your wrappers. That's going to be a big one for learning what to eat, what not to eat. Become familiar with, like, the ingredients on the labels themselves. Anything that ends in like ose, like sucralose, glucose, like all of those are sugars. So you need to be aware of that as well. I'd say this is might like upset some people, and maybe you do need to, maybe you don't need to, but for myself, I cut out fast food. I missed it at first. I definitely did, especially because it's easy. It's easy. But you know what? The truth is, it's easy to be fat, and it's hard to lose weight. So it makes sense that fast food is easy, because fast food makes you fucking fat. And one particular aspect of that that's super hard for me is that my husband's actually a manager at In-N-Out Burger. And I have not had fast food in more than a year. If I can do it, you can do it. Other than that, I would say, like in my last couple of videos, I think I've said a couple times, stop drinking your calories. It's just not worth it. There's no volume. There's no nutrients. Just stop. Just stop. I mean, the only time that I would say go ahead and drink your calories is when you're actually, you know what, never mind. Let's not even go into that. So stop drinking your calories, which brings me also to drink your water. The more water you drink, the less water your body holds on to. You're flushing out your system of toxins. You're helping to keep your hair healthy, your nails healthy. It will help with skin elasticity, which is a huge one for people that are worried about loose skin. If you're worried, drink water. It helps fill up your cells. It helps to keep them elastic and stretching, able to snap back more easily. Just think about, like, I don't know, just it's hydrated, it's not brittle, basically, is where my mind was going with that. And I'd also say, for what not to eat, try hard to be conscious of sodium and salt, and try as much as you can to decrease that. That's a tough one for me. I have always loved salt, too much salt. I still put too much salt on my foods. I know it. but it's at least something that's in the realm of my mind. I'm conscious of it now. And I drink a lot of water to help combat that, even extra water. Um, but I would say at least be aware of your sodium salt intake. And lastly, for what to eat, what not to eat, increase your fiber. It helps with your digestion, to get things moving, to kind of clean you out a little bit. For women, it's suggested to ingest between 25 to 35 grams of fiber. And where you're going to get fiber, again, fruits and veggies. And be aware that, like, when you turn a bunch of fruit into a smoothie, you've now changed the structure of the fruit, and the fiber has been broken down by the blender, and you're not getting that good nutrients anymore. What you're getting is a whole lot of sugary calories. So eat your fruit whole, try to, and get that fiber in. And if that's still not enough, because it's not enough for me, even though I eat a good amount of fruits and vegetables, it's still not enough for me. I take like a fiber supplement. I take like a Metamucil, which is kind of, but whatever you got to do, man. It only gives me an extra like 8 grams of fiber, but it's enough to help like push me over. And the last step, and the hardest step, progress. Progress takes time, patience, and trust. You have to trust yourself and the process. Know that you're not cheating yourself. Know that you are trying as hard as you possibly can. Know that you are human and it's okay to make mistakes, and that will not erase all of your progress. But know that it'll take time. Be aware of that and be willing to put it in, because the truth is the time is going to pass either way. And the question is, are you going to be fat at the end of it, or are you going to be skinny at the end of it? And the choice is yours. So be patient with yourself and with your progress. It will come, I promise. If you are dedicated and consistent, there's no reason why you cannot lose this weight. So another part of progress, to get a little less heavy on you there, another part of progress would be weigh-ins. I would not weigh in more than once a week. That's just me. And mostly because you fluctuate so much with water weight and, all these other given kind of, what do you want to say, like elements that can change. Like if you're on your period, like I said, water, if you have high salt, if you drank alcohol the night before, can make you bloated, like just different things like that. So I would weigh in once a week, same time, wearing the same clothes or no clothes at all. So when I say same time, I mean same time of day. Like if you do it in the morning before you eat or at night after you eat, like whatever the choice is, but just be consistent. So for me, I used to weigh in every Sunday morning after I peed, and that would be that. Now that I'm in my goal window, I've been weighing in every other week because I want to back off of the scale and make it more lifestyle. So weigh in once a week and also measure every week. I used to take my measurements every week. And what I mean by measurements is a bust measurement, a waist measurement, a hip measurement, one of my thighs and one of my arms. Some people do across here too, their shoulders. But really, as long as you're consistent in where you're measuring, it's okay if you're not hitting an exact, like, scientific, like, this is where your hip bones are. Like, that's okay. Just always measure in that same spot, and you'll know that you've lost 2 inches from that spot, 3, whatever, as it goes down and down. And that's a cool way, because sometimes, the scale just really doesn't completely show all of our progress. Another thing that I would say as far as progress is goal clothes, the clothes that, getting into old clothes, how they're fitting, buying something new in a smaller size and then getting into it, like all of that goes into progress. Progress pictures too. In the beginning, you're not, really fond of what you're looking like yet, so you don't really want to take a lot of progress pictures. But honestly, that's like one of my biggest regrets about the journey. I have very few like before shots. And one of the things that really helps me is to see my full transformation. It just kind of helps keep me in check and mentally lets me know, like, okay, no, yes, you have done this. Because it's a hard thing to accept a whole new person in the mirror. It is hard to wrap your head around that change. And side-by-side progress pictures of before and after are a really tangible way to see progress and to not let your mind trick you. So I would say every week, weigh on the scale, measure yourself, and take a progress pic. If you don't want to look at it, fine. Exit out of the app and store it for later. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The last step is the simplest yet hardest step, and that's repeat every day for the rest of your life. No, I'm just kidding. Cutting and actually counting calories and logging, you're not going to have to do every day for the rest of your life. You're going to have to do it until you feel comfortable and safe enough to not do it, which for me, that hasn't happened yet. 110 pounds and a little bit more than a year later, and I still track all of my food, but that's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with making that choice. And when I don't get around to tracking something, I'm okay with that too. I forgive myself, I move on, and I track the next thing I can, or really, actually, I go back and track it. But you know, it's all a journey. It's still a journey. Right now, figuring out how to be in my goal weight, figuring out how to, you know, maintain, not gain it back, not get too thin that people are like saying stuff to me. Like I said, one of my goals is to gain muscle and lose body fat, not necessarily weight, because muscle weighs more than fat. So there's a lot of things that come into play with a weight loss journey. It's never over. And the whole thing that everybody says that's so cliche, but is so freaking true, is that it's not a diet. It's a lifestyle, and it has to be if you want to transform yourself. If you want to transform your body, then you need to transform the environment that has made it that way. You didn't gain the weight overnight, and you're not going to lose it overnight, but it is possible. You can do this. I promise you, you can. Just get started. So I know, like I said, that I've been waiting to do this video. It's really important to me. I hope that this helps. I know it's long. I hope that you're still here with me. I know that some of these things are more opinion than fact. This is really just what worked for me, and it's really hard to write all this down in a DM message when people contact me on Instagram especially. So now I kind of have something to say. Well, if you really want to know, you can listen to me talk for like 30 minutes. Sorry. Anyway, so like I said, hope you got something out of this. Remember, you can follow me on Instagram. I update there much more than I do here. It's just more convenient. Instagram at WonderWoman.fit, or you can see what I'm eating on MyFitnessPal, which is WonderWoman_fit. Or if you're more interested in my particular backstory, about 2 months ago, or a month ago, bodybuilding.com actually did a story on me, a transformation story. So if you go to their site, bodybuilding.com, like I just said, and search under, I think, transformation of the week, then you scroll down and it's all transformation. I'm in there. I am right in there. And that was pretty freaking amazing for me when that happened. But I think that the reason why they reached out to me is because I'm a regular person. And while what I accomplished is, you know, an amazing feat, and I don't want to discredit myself, it's not anything that anyone couldn't do. You can do this. All right. That's it for now.